Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for stopping by. Today I am continuing working on my journal that I started the other day. And off camera, my goal was to sew some of the material, add some pockets to the material for the cover, and then also sew the cover to my Amazon packaging. But unfortunately, I ran into a little snag or a snafu, and I decided to pop back on and just talk to you guys about it. So I'll show you what I did accomplish. I did get the pretty lace attached, sewed on to the ticking material, and then on the back side you could also see how I sewed on my closures or my ties. I did it on the inside. So that was going to be for part of my cover. And then the inside cover, I chose the same material. And then I added this little crocheted lace trim that came off of a pillowcase. So that will be a pocket for the inside. And then I was going to glue, not glue, but I was going to sew both these pieces onto this Amazon packaging. Or actually it was this piece of Amazon packaging. But then as I was going to start to do that, I realized that like if I had my materials sewed on, you were going to see the top of the packaging, and I didn't like that. So then my next idea was to take some craft paper and just fold it over just, you know, little ways down, maybe have an inch hanging over on all four sides. So then that way you wouldn't see it. And so I started sewing on the craft paper, and I've already pulled it off. You can just see maybe a little remnant of it right there. But unfortunately, my sewing machine did not like this Amazon Prime packaging. And I kind of had it in my head that I really want to use this Amazon Prime packaging for the inside of my cover. I like the sound of it. And so then I just dug out another one to start over with. And what I thought this time is I was kind of on the right track with folding over packaging or paper packaging so I couldn't see the tops of it. And then what I decided, since I'm now going to have to glue these on, my fear again was not sure how my glues, unless I used hot glue, were going to hold up, if they would attach or not to the plastic. So I came up with this idea. You can see I kind of made a little sleeve out of a paper bag, a grocery paper bag that I had. So I just folded it over. I cut a little slice on this side and made, you know, the edges like that. So my plan now, and I think this plan will work, is to stick the packaging inside of here, because I made it so that it would fit exactly. And I'm going to glue this down. And so then now I should be able to glue my covers to the packaging and not have any issue. I might have to work the paper a little bit to get it to fold where I need it to, but I think I should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this flap shut. But like I said, I just decided I should pop on and show you guys where I was at and show you my little mistake. I don't know if it was a mistake or more of a learning experience, I'm going to call it. And I pretty much now know from now on not to use that plastic packaging, bubble wrap packaging, unless I put a cover on it somehow. And I also know that my sewing machine doesn't like it. So I will pretty much have to just plan on, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to have to plan on gluing items onto it. So, so like I said, just a learning experience. It held me up for a little bit. I had hoped to get a little bit more done this morning in my craft room. It's getting close to lunchtime. And so I'm going to have to stop pretty soon. But I'll just add on to this video because I kind of plan on working a little bit more this afternoon too in the craft room. It's snowing outside today here, and it's a little windy, so it's kind of a good day to craft. At some point, I'm sure I'll have to go out and help my husband with removal of the snow, I think, unless he really wants to do it by himself. We'll just have to see how much we get. But I usually help a little bit. Shovel, it's good exercise. So So I think that's going to work for plan B, I guess, for my base of my cover. I still have the sound a little bit of the packaging, so I'm going to see now if I can fold it or not. Like I said, I might have to work it a little bit and manipulate it to get it to fold how I want it to. But I should be able to do that, so it's a lot thicker now than what I was planning on with this extra layer, but if I have to, I'll just take a page or two out of my journal if I have to. So I think that's going to work for my cover. You know, there's a little bit of crunch to it, not exactly quite the same. So now I can glue this down onto this side and then the other one onto the other side, and then it won't matter if you can see that part, I don't think. So so that's kind of what it'll look like. So I really like that. And then, like I said, here's my closures that I attached. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. I think I'm going to switch to Fabri-Tac for this. And I'm probably going to just glue this side and kind of let it dry really good, and then I'll flip it over and do the other side. And I'll just do that one off camera, but and then we can start, you know, either, I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to work on the pages and then attach them. Sometimes I don't even do my cover until the very end. It's just I had this idea for this cover in my head, so I've been working on it. I don't know if everyone who's watching, if you guys have a certain methodology that you like to do when you make your journals, if you start with the cover or you start with the pages, or what your normal method is. And I kind of do both. You know, sometimes I'll do my cover and then add pages, and other times I'll do all my inside pages and then see how fat it's going to get, and then I make my cover based on that. So I don't do it the exact same way each time, I guess. I always like to glue a little bit at a time, just to make sure that if there's going to be any wrinkles or anything, I can easily manipulate it a little bit. So hopefully this will dry enough while I go eat lunch, and then I can attach the outside cover. Lunch should be pretty easy for me today. My husband and I usually kind of take turns making meals and stuff, but it's leftovers today. The other day my parents were here along with their neighbor. Joanne came, and I made them soup. So I have sausage tortellini soup today left over, so it's just a matter of reheating it. So that'll be a good lunch. I like soups this time of year. They're one of my favorite things to make and eat, I guess. So yeah, I think this is going to work for, you know, a secondary plan. I maybe should have looked at it from this side to make sure I had it a little more evened out, but I might be able to trim off a little bit of this. We'll see where it looks after I get the cover on. And I think it's actually going to be dry enough, so I think I'm going to go ahead and glue the cover on too. So there's my pocket for the inside. And so let's get the cover on. And I can always add lace and stuff around the edges if there is some of this showing. There's always something you can do. It doesn't look like I cut my material quite right. I didn't really account for the extra paper packaging on this. So yeah, it will look like I'm a little short on my material up there, so for sure I'm going to have to add some sort of lace or something around the cover here. And like I said, that's okay. We'll make it work. Manipulate it. Maybe I can a little bit, because either way, either the top or the bottom. So maybe I'd prefer to have for sure lace at the bottom. So let's make the top a little bit better here. I don't know if you guys can see that there's just that little bit here. So trying to think if I wanted to maybe glue down the lace. Maybe I'll do like a double layer of lace. I'll glue something under here and then on top of it. So I'm just gonna go grab some lace real quick. So I just grabbed a couple of options. Like I said, this wasn't part of my original plan. So I could see what that looks like underneath. This is just some crocheted trim. So that one's an option. I like that. It's not bad. See, I also have this little kind of Battenberg. It's what I call Battenberg style of lace. This one actually was a French lace that I found at the thrift store a couple of years ago. It was $4. It still was on its original packaging, so it's vintage. And I was excited about that because I paid $4 for the whole thing, and it got quite a bit of yardage. I'm kind of stingy on it. It was kind of one of my first true vintage laces or antique type laces that I found at the thrift store. So I do kind of like that. That's kind of an interesting look to it. So I'm thinking I might go that route, and I like the fact that it has some of its own discoloration to it. It's, you know, you can tell that it's old. I also have some laces on this blue thing, and some of them are vintage and some are, you know, antique, and so, because I think pretty sure that this one right here in the end is an antique lace. And a few years ago, my parents had gone to a big rummage sale from this guy that buys out storage lockers. And usually every year, I think it's like around Labor Day, he has a huge rummage sale, and they actually have like food trucks and different things, and people can come and buy stuff. And he had lace, like these big copy paper boxes full of lace, and it was $5 a box. So my mom bought me, I think she ended up buying me maybe 3 boxes. And she bought me the ones that she thought I would most likely use. So, and she did a pretty good job, because there's a lot of fun laces in that stuff. I also, like I said, have this one too. So I'm kind of debating on using this one. Again, I know I need something on top of that one, but maybe I reverse these two and put this one on the top and glue this one on the bottom. Like that too. That's nice. And then I can glue that one on the top, or yeah, that one just doesn't look right, you know, unless I just do that one. But I really like this one now that I have that one on there. I don't want to spend too much time thinking about my laces. At least not this early in the stage. I have more of this sheer lace, but I don't think I like that one. And I have this one, and that one doesn't look right either. So I think I'm going to go back to this one on top. So I like that. So I have a plan now to hide my little mistake, so then I can put this up fairly tall on the top of this. Yeah. So I guess the first thing that I need to do then is glue down this lace. Then once I glue that other one on top, like I said, that'll hide my little measuring mistake. But I suspect that part of it was because this packaging is, you know, made it a little bit bigger than what it was without, when it was just the Amazon packaging. So I think I'm just going to turn it upside down because I want to make sure that the top is even. Because like I said, I can fix that down there by adding some more lace down there. So maybe we'll just do it this way. We'll do the top half with glue and then the bottom half. It's always the one nice thing I like about junk journals is that they don't have to be perfect and you can usually fix your mistakes. And I always like to say maybe perfectly imperfect sometimes, which is definitely what this one's going to be. So I'm going to make sure I get that covered as best I can up there. And part of my problem is I cannot cut straight either, so that's part of my issue, I'm pretty sure too. It's like I had it more than, you know, good size this way, just the height of it I didn't have quite. I should have left just a little bit more on it. So I cut too much. Still looks like it's gonna look okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue the bottom half down here. I'm just gonna make sure as I'm putting this down that my closure, my ribbons on the sides are gonna lay nice as I'm gluing it down. So there's not actually, in the end, there wasn't too much brown showing from the craft paper underneath, or the paper bag that I used. You know, a little more than what I wanted to hang out on that side, but I think this is still going to work, so. And this will lay nicer once I get my stuff sewed in. Now I wish I would have, because I was still planning on sewing this down, now I wish I would have sewed around this piece all the way before I glued it down, but that's okay. It's still gonna look nice once you stick something in the pockets, so. So yeah, I think I kind of like that. And let me see what time it is. I have a couple more minutes before my alarm goes off here. And so I was going to put these on the inside. It's a little bit bigger than I should have cut down. Shoot. Maybe I should save this cover for something else and remake one, because look at how and these are pretty close to, how big is, let's see if I have a ruler. So yeah, I guess I could stick a couple of 8-inch pages in here in the middle of this, but I don't know that, how long did this end up being? This is like almost 9 inches, so. It's a very pretty cover and I really want to use it. But I have enough of everything that I could make another one and save this one for something else. Isn't that pretty? And then if I were to do something with that over the cover. So pretty. Things never go the way you want them to go, do they? Just I would really have to put some bigger sheets in there, and I kind of like how I have the inside of this one done. So, yeah, I didn't even think of that. You know, now I could have cut everything down more, which I need to add a little more glue up there, it looks like. Because this one definitely needs bigger pages. So I think I am going to scrap this cover, as much as I hate to do that. I'm going to make a similar one though and just make it smaller. So I will start over again. I think I have enough of all of this material. I'll have to double check, otherwise I'll come up with something else. So I'm going to reconstruct another one. I probably won't do that one on camera. I'll do it the exact same way, I think, but if I have enough of this ticking material, and I'm going to save this one for something else because that is so pretty. But like I said, I think I'm going to make the exact same one, so I'll be able to use it for something else with larger pages in it. Because I really like the inside of this one. So yeah, we'll go now with plan C again. So I'm going to reconstruct another one, and I will be back after I get that cover done. If for some reason it's going to be completely different, I will pop back on and show you guys my steps on that one. So I did pop back on. I'm still not going to construct it all again with you guys, but I just wanted to show you, instead of using the plastic packaging, I found some Amazon packaging that was the craft paper. So I can skip that step, and this should fit in there pretty well this way. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and attach the material and everything exactly the same way that I did the other one. But I just wanted to show you what my next plan is. So I just finished redoing the second cover, and this one's a little bit shorter, you can see, than the other one. And I think it's going to work much better for my signature. It's not going to look like it's swimming inside of there. And so I did make a couple changes where this first one that I did, I had doubled up on the seam binding and the ribbon seam binding that I added. This time I didn't have enough of the ribbon or lace seam binding, so I only did these two instead of doubling them up on each side, if that makes sense. Because like I said, here, this one I doubled it up so that there was, of course now this one's going to knot up. You know, I had two of the lace seam binding and two of the regular seam binding on each side, where this time I only did one of each. That I just didn't have enough of the lace seam binding, and that's okay. And then also on this one, I did sew around this before I glued it down. And with this paper packaging, the craft paper Amazon packaging, I was actually able to sew this top part onto that, so I was happy about that. So I didn't have to glue that one, but I did glue the inside one in. And then of course I fell in love with putting the lace and stuff at the bottom, even though I didn't have to do that this time. I cut my material the right size, but I did go ahead and add those 2 layers at the bottom. I really like how that looks, so I'm really happy so far with this one. And for the cover, the rest of the cover, again, I'm going to glue this down, and I think I might even cut it and save part of this for something else, just because I do want some of this lace to show on the back when it comes time to do that. And again, I'm going to probably glue this down in this type of position like a pocket on here. And I'm for sure going to add this flower there. And I'm probably going to do some other layering. I think this, I really like this lady. She came from Graphic 45 paper pad. I think she, from a portrait of a lady. And I found this remnant of a doily that I cut apart. So I'm thinking that would look kind of nicely framed and maybe doing something like that. And then possibly gathering some sort of lace and maybe putting it up here, or some cheesecloth or something. I haven't quite decided yet. But the only thing I'm going to do now is maybe attach this doily to here and then cut this out a little bit more. I'm going to wait to glue this on until the very end once I've sewn in my signature. That way you won't see the strings. I'm hoping this covers it a little bit. So I'm going to wait on that until that'll be one of the last things I do. But I just wanted to show you guys my thought process for so far. But I figured I could at least get her ready to go. So that's one of the things I'm going to do right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up a little bit on the inside of this. There's just some little stragglies that I always want to get rid of. I think the middle of this one had one of those little flower type centers that I had cut out and used it on some other project. And so what I'm going to do is just going to take my Fabri-Tac, and I think I'm just going to just put a little bit on because I'm going to cut it down. But I want this in the right spot before I cut it. And I think that looks good right there. I'm going to kind of make it look more oval than what the doily probably was. I think the doily was actually a circular one, more circle, but just by manipulating it I can make it look. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim this little bit right here. So I like that better. Like I said, I think that'll look cute on the cover. So I'm just going to set that aside because I'm not going to need that for a while. And I might try and dig out some more pieces from this paper collection. I have some more scraps because it might be nice to add some more of these little cards in the journal. And so I have my signatures and I'm not ready. I think I want to decorate my pages before I sew them in this time around, because I'm not quite sure how fat it's going to end up being. And then that way if I want to add another piece of paper I can, or take one out. And so I kind of jump around when I work in mine. I don't necessarily work from front to the middle and then to the back. I just jump around with just based on what I pulled in my stash. And since I'm kind of getting going, I don't have a full plan yet. But I did grab a couple of scraps that were sitting close to my desk just to start playing around with. I have some cheesecloth here that was either tea dyed or coffee dyed. I'm not sure. Probably tea dyed. I don't really do too much coffee dyeing anymore. And so I was thinking it might be nice. I also found this remnant that came off of a doily from a project, and I was thinking it might look kind of nice to put it on one of the corners of this first part here. And again, these pages might move on here once I get them in, but I just got to decide if I want it up there or maybe down here. I kind of like it down there, so I think I'm going to put it there. And then I am going to look, after I'm done recording today, I'm going to look for maybe a little piece of some sort of broken piece of jewelry or something to put into the middle of that. I have to look at my stash and see what I have. But this is kind of how I craft when I make journals. I, start with the pieces that I know I definitely want in a spot, and then I add to them as I go along, or I find things as I clean out things in my stash. And maybe when I sit down and play again tomorrow, I'll have a few more things a little more thought out and planned. Right now I don't really have a lot planned on how I want to see this journal. I think I do like that, like I said, other than it, I want to put something in the middle of that. So I think that's good for now on that page. And I'm just going to go through, maybe come up with some things like this right here. I think I want to cover that, whether I add some sort of cluster or something up there. I don't want that up there, or if I find like more of a vintage postage stamp, which I have quite a few in my stash, I should be able to cover that up, you know. I did pull this out too when I was pulling something else from my stash. This one I'll hang from somewhere, but I do have some more postage stamps that are older like that I could cover up, like the cheesecloth on top of there. But maybe now, for now, I'll just glue that cheesecloth down, and I'll add to it later when I figure out exactly what I want to put on there. But I like the start of that so far. So we'll leave that. I don't really want to do anything at all with this page. And I'll need something to put back on that. I do have this little vintage piece of kind of a lace here. It's kind of an embroidered lace. So I would like to make a pocket or a belly band with it somewhere in here. I don't think that matches very well with that page. And I'm going to leave the German page too, I think, book text page the way it is. You know, maybe I'll put a little cluster on the top or the bottom somewhere, or maybe I'll find a piece of bridal lace, you know, little applique to put on it. That's not bad. Or even a pocket. Or I could do a belly band. So maybe I'll do a belly band. I'll do the back side of this one though. This was kind of tough paper to work with because there were some words, like I said, with the rulers being on there, some were upside down and some were the normal way. And I liked it to be able to read this one that said West Magnolia Street, so that's why I put it that way, but a lot of them are upside down. And so then the inside of this page too, the numbers are kind of upside down at the top, but I didn't find that too distracting. So, but I think if I put this here and make that into a belly band, and then we can make something, some sort of ephemera to put inside of there, or a tag or a journal card. So I'm going to cut this down so it's ready to go. And I think I want to sew this one in. So again, I'll do my sewing off camera. But let's put that in. I'm going to find a little clip or something that I can just clip it for now so that I know that that's what I want to do there on that side. And then I can also think about what kind of a ephemera I want to add to it. You know, maybe here I can add some sort of pocket or something. I have another remnant here of a doily. That isn't bad. I could do that on the other side too. Let me look at that. We'll do it on this side, I think. So yeah, I think I like that. And again, I think I'll probably try and stitch it in. I'm going to stitch this one into just right along there, and then I'll have a little loose pocket. Paper clip that one in also. So that, you know, this one will be done then once I get this sewed in and that sewed in. You know, and I can maybe add some sort of more flowers or something, little appliques. What else do I have? I did also pull out of my stash, I have some vintage bingo cards. So I'm wondering if I could put maybe a flip out somewhere, Or I could put this in the pocket, one of these pockets, and decorate it. But I kind of like the idea of a flip out, so I'm going to have to do one maybe more towards the middle for that one, because it's going to be, I need a little bit bigger page. So maybe one of these. I don't know if I mentioned it, but after the first day when I did the video, I did ink all the rest of my edges. So yeah, I like that idea with a flip out there, but I'm gonna use, I thought about using some washi tape, but I think I want to use paper, so I'll need to grab some paper. And I need to find something to decorate this one with and make some sort of cluster. This one looks kind of like a butterfly, doesn't it? This one came off of a doily also. Let's cut that out and look at it and see what that looks like. When I sat down again after I got back in from, I sewed this and then I had eaten lunch. I just grabbed a pile of stuff that I had sitting in another spot in my craft room just to look at, to see if I could use any of the stuff before I put it away and found homes for it. The beginning of December, I had done kind of a whole bunch of tutorials on decorating a number of paper mache cones for Christmas, and one of the paper mache decorated trees that I decorated, I used a whole bunch of doilies for, and I cut out parts of them, and so I have all these little doily remnants left, and so that's why I'm trying to find, you know, something to use them for. Otherwise I got to put them away in my craft room instead of leaving them out on the tray that they're sitting on. Maybe shouldn't have. I kind of took that apart, but I'll just glue it back down again. I just wanted to make it look more like an antenna. Or, yeah, antennae. What is that? How you say it? Kind of like that little butterfly if I glue it back together. He's kind of cute. Or she, whatever it is. So that might look kind of nice on the bingo card. I don't know if I should make some sort of pocket on here or glue some washi tape on it. The back side's kind of plain. So maybe I also need to put some coffee dyed paper on that. That we could do right now. So it's actually not coffee dyed, it's tea dyed paper. I like that side better, so let's just glue it down. Yeah, once I start working on a journal, my desk gets so messy. I don't know about you guys, but... And I have little trays that I put when I'm working on projects. I try and pick up a little bit and put all my like pieces and parts on the trays, but I'm also doing some tea dyeing, and I use those same trays to stick my paper on and tea dye, so I don't have any of my trays available right now. But I'm thinking I only have a little bit more here in the craft room for now. I think it's done snowing, so I'm kind of thinking I should probably go help my husband take care of the snow. We'll decide. I think there was enough snow that we're going to have to dig out the snow blower. And then we have a number of decks that we also have to shovel and get rid of the snow. So we'll see who wants to do what. We usually kind of take turns. I was hoping it was just going to snow a little bit, but it looks like it's several inches. So that'll work for the inside of that page. So if I make some sort of flip, you know, I could have it flip up too, but I think I want it to flip this way. And I do know I want this butterfly on here. So I need to decide if I want to make some sort of pocket or something on here so that we can still have some more writing space. Trying to see if I still have any cheese. Oh, I still have, yeah, I do have some of this cheesecloth. I don't know if that's what I want underneath this or not, or if I want some lace. Just, you know, a little bit different color. I might have to dig through my lace and see what else I have. That one's a little big. Because it might look nice to have some lace or something on that one. But I am going to fix, since I took that one apart, I am just going to put a little glue here so that's attached again. So I think that'll work. Other than, like I said, I need something else. And maybe a pocket. I'm trying to see what other laces I have on my desk to see if anything. I pulled out a couple, but you know, that one's pretty wide, so yeah, I do, you know, I love to thrift shop, and this was, I found this for $1/4, this whole bit of lace, and it's all vintage. And I found several, you know, that other one too. This one I bought at the same time for $1/4. This one does have some marks from where there was tape on it, but just trying to decide if that's too much, if I add a pocket on this, or if I just need another little decorative element or something on the opposite side of the, I do kind of like that. I wonder if I have any more doilies that I could make into like a little pocket. This one might be kind of tough. I might be able to glue that one down and still be able to tuck like a little photo or something in it. Yeah, I think that'll work. I don't think I'm going to sew that one though. I think I'm just going to glue that one down. Oh, but will that interfere though if I want to make this open? So if I do want to make a pocket, I would have to put it on this side. If I wanted it into, or a little tuck spot, because otherwise it might, I don't know if that's going to interfere. Well, it might not. Just cut it right here and see. Well, I guess the next best thing is, since I have this paper here, we can just make the tab, or not the tab, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we could just make the hinge. That's what the word is. I'm trying to think, the hinge, since I have this coffee dyed paper sitting here. We'll just make the hinge right now, and then we'll see. Yeah, because I don't want to glue it all the way on the edge, so I think that would not work, but I could put some sort of tuck spot across the bottom, because I think it'll get caught when you try and open it up. But I guess while I'm thinking, I can ink the edges of this since I didn't do that already. All right, so let's just glue this down. This will probably take me forever if I'm going to do all of this on camera. But I guess you guys will be able to see my process, and I am a very slow crafter most of the time if I'm not planning on like doing like a straight up tutorial. Because those I usually think about and work on all the details before I sit down and do the tutorial, where this is more of a craft with me and you guys get to see my whole kind of thinking process. So I apologize if it's not what you're used to on my channel, but I thought I would try it. Just kind of a start to finish kind of session and see what you guys think. I didn't quite put my fold in the right spot here. So I gotta change that up a little bit. Otherwise it's not gonna open very well. Unless I put it on the edge. Which I might just have to do that, I guess. All right, we'll glue it down and keep on going. So that seems like that'll work. It looks like my camera is probably going to shut down here in a second looking at the time. So I think I'm going to call that for today. And we'll keep on decorating, adding some more details to this. And before I come back again the next time, I will have these sewed back on like we talked about. And then I'll have maybe a better plan for a couple of the other things that I want to do. And then we can, you know, once I get kind of the pages somewhat decorated, I'll work on putting ephemera in any of the pockets and belly bands and stuff. So thanks again, everybody, so much for watching. And love to hear what your thoughts and comments are on today's struggles that I had earlier with putting together the book cover, the journal cover. But I'm still really liking how the journal is progressing. So So it seems like that's going to work. I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go help my husband shovel, but I think this is going to work. And again, before I come back, I will do a little bit of sewing and sew those on, and I'll try and come up with a little bit better game plan and have a little bit more of an idea what I'm doing instead of just sitting here and doing a lot of thinking. So yeah, thanks again everybody so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts or comments on how the journal's progressing, and if you have any little snafus like I do when you make covers and different things, 'cause I know that didn't quite go my way and that put me behind a little bit, but that's okay. Again, it's just a learning experience. So until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will be back tomorrow again with continuing to work on this journal a little bit. So have a wonderful day and happy crafting.